just screwed my stomach all up getting that empty, you know?
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right.
You're listening to the podcast where we talk about life, sports, family, and everything in between. Welcome to Just Talking Out Loud with your hosts, Ron and Terry.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Just Talking Out Loud. I'm Ron.
And I'm Terry.
We're glad to have you with us. And I'm hoping that when you hear this, it's a little early this is the day. Well, it's usually we would have this the day before.
Election
This would be a Monday, but this would fall on the day before Election Day. But Terry had found some things. So I thought we would release this a little early. So we're going to do this on a Friday. So if you're listening, you're a loyal listener, you're probably surprised.
That we came out early.
We're not going to dig deep into election. We're not going to tell you to vote for and who we're voting. We're not doing all that. What we're saying is do your part, right? Vote. And Terry found, she was listening, she religiously, if you will, listens to Give Him 15. If you're looking for something to help you spiritually and lift you up in the morning, it's a good way to start. Anyway, he was talking about if you'd like to find out what the candidates really are for, what they stand for. It's non-bipartisan. It's bipartisan. They're not leaning one way or the other. All they tell you is what they stand for.
And I think they do go into some articles if they back that up.
Okay.
Like you can dig as deep as you want or not as deep as you want. Like if you want to just see what they say they'd stand for, you can do that. But there are articles like that say they voted for something or didn't vote for. You know what I mean? You can dig deeper from there, and it'll have like little sites you can click on from the newsreels and stuff.
Now, I'm hopefully going to be able to link this on our page, but the one of the ones that you found is called...
It's Million Voices Candidate Fact Sheet, and you can go to millionvoices.org, and it starts with the presidential candidates, and it does the
Senate races too.
Yeah,
but whatever
you have to keep
you live
scrolling down and to find your state.
Right.
And then when you find your state, it'll give you if there's a Senate race in your state, if there's a governor's race in your state, it'll give you those. But it's all state level things. I didn't dig deep enough to find the local yet. But it does just give you who's running and their facts and stats on them, and then whether they've upheld it. There were a few articles of,
So it's called millionvoices.org.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is called, I think you gave it to me.
I think it's the same thing.
It's called
candidatefactsheet.org. It is the same exact site. It's the same fact sheet that you get on both of them. But you can go to either millionvoices.org or candidate fact sheet.
Okay, so if you're looking...
.org. They're both .org.
You're still not sure who you'd like to
vote for,
and you want to know what they stand for. And again, it's bipartisan, so they're not they're not leaning one way or the other. They're just telling you this is what they've voted for. They have the facts to back it up.
There'll be like 7 or 8 questions, and it'll say whether they agree with that or don't agree with it, like border policies.
Right.
It comes to they try to hit the top 16
of what people want.
Of what people are interested in voting for or against. And they tell you who's for and who's against. That way, if your candidate's for one thing that you're for, but everything else is on the other, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That way you can kind of outweigh it.
The idea, what we're trying to do is get you out there to vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. I mean, you may not want to vote. Maybe you don't care for either candidate. I'll be honest with you, we're not thrilled about it.
No.
This is the choices we have, but this is what we have. So you have to go, in my opinion, you have to do some digging. You got to do some fact checking, find out what they really stand for. And then whatever you do, you can go to bed saying, hey, I voted with what I felt was the best, person for what I believed in. That's all you can do. And we'll see what happens on November Well, who knows? Because it used to be
I've
you
had
would
different
know,
elections I've come home from, and I've just been like,
well, it used to be you'd know that day. Now, who knows? I mean, last one, you saw what happened there. It was like a week later.
we went to
You're
bed
trying to
thinking one
figure out-
person won and woke up the next morning
Yeah, it
and
was
another person
very
won.
weird.
And
But
how
anyway.
did they get millions of extra votes? I don't
Well,
understand.
needless to say, it is what it is. But go out, vote, do your patriotic duty, because it's a free country.
And I think a lot of people think it doesn't matter. And I didn't vote
I used
for
to be
years.
that way too.
I didn't vote for years because
didn't
I
either.
went and voted one time and was so disgusted at the outcome of it and thought, well, my vote didn't help at all, and quit voting for a while. But we do need to keep up. It's our duty to keep up and vote. And if we're not voting, then how can they say, they did what America wanted if we don't even vote and tell them what we want?
Well, I think I definitely agree that I used to think, man, I don't, my one vote
Doesn't count.
But even, when you look at in 2020, it was in some cases, you were talking just a couple thousand here and there that might have made a difference. It was that close, and this one's even going to be even closer than that from what they're saying. So again, all we're saying is go out, and if you're not sure, at least go in and do your fact check. I don't believe, I will say this, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I just think that you shouldn't go in just saying I'm voting all Democrat or I'm voting all Republican. I do think you should look to see what they actually stand for. I have voted.
And have they voted the way they say they stand?
Yeah, I have voted, even though I'm a Democrat. Don't even know how I did that. But I've only voted Democrat. That was Obama. And that was the first time. I didn't vote for him the second time. And then I haven't lately. But again, the point is find out what they stand for and what what aligns with what you believe.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. I mean, that's what you have to go with. And then whatever happens, happens. You leave it up to the good Lord above, because ultimately he is in charge.
Yeah. I mean, he can actually take something bad and make it good, too.
Yeah, exactly. So regardless of who the president is, we still only have one God, and that's really what's important.
Yeah.
So let's leave it with that. I think that's a good way to end it.
Yeah, that is a good way to end it.
We got a couple things because, of course, we're into November. We got the election. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. It's just wild. And speaking of Thanksgiving, Terry, how would you like to have this option? Now, let's go. We haven't cooked Thanksgiving because my mom does it, but we have done a turkey, and we've had to go through the process. And what is the process usually we go through when you want to cook a turkey?
I put it in a baking bag.
Well, I know, but before that.
Oh, you thaw it out.
Correct.
And then
What would you think if I told you there is a butterball turkey that you take straight out of the freezer and put it straight in the oven? No thawing.
Yeah, but are they giblets and stuff in it? They're
No.
not in it. Okay, they're not.
That is
in
correct. It's not in
it. So
it.
the neck and the giblets are not in there.
Correct. Butterball, which is the largest producer in the U.S. of turkeys, wants to eliminate that thawing process to help some people that maybe you forgot. So they introduced, it's cooked from frozen premium whole turkey. You simply take it out of the freezer, put it on that day, put it in the oven. They say, they say there's no thawing, no mess, no stress. And on their page, it says from frozen to fantastic, because, usually I remember Terry say, hey,
so how much longer? It probably takes longer to cook then.
Well, that's just it. It doesn't say that. All it says that it has a specially formulated brine that has water and sodium phosphate, and also has some spices. And according to the website, that keeps the bird moist throughout the roasting process. And they say, of course, the neck and the giblets aren't included, so that makes it easier to prepare. Also, you can't stuff this bird. So you couldn't put the stuffing in it because they say that could cause a food safety risk.
Oh, yeah, I would think because of the frozen bird, it would make the...
And I was wondering, for those of you that like to have the, which Terry uses the giblets and stuff and the neck, right, or use that for your gravy.
I boil it.
You boil it in your gravy, and that's what it says. Sorry, for those of you that you'd have to make your own gravy, and you would also have to make your own dressing because you couldn't put it in the bird.
Yeah.
As far as price, Walmart's carrying them. You'd have to go on Butterball's store locator on their website. It'll tell you who has them, but Walmart is carrying them. They range from $2.49 to $2.99 a pound, and they run from 10 pounds to 14 pounds, depending. If you're one of those ones that don't want to have to worry about thawing it, it doesn't really matter.
Well, we usually cook one more on our vacation, and
now that would make the difference. But how much longer does it take?
It usually thaws out while we're driving down.
No, I know,
anyhow,
but I'm saying that's true.
And I like to use a baking bag because we have not gotten a not moist turkey out of a baking bag.
Right. It doesn't say how long it would take. I guess you'd have to look on the directions. I'm sure it's got to be a little bit longer, right? Because it's 3.5 hours sometimes for one that's been thawed.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference?
Well, if it's only 10 to 14 pounds, you said, so it's a smaller bird.
It's anywhere from 10 to 14 pounds.
Because sometimes I get a 20-pound bird
that's true. Sometimes.
Going.
That is a good point.
I think the one in the bottom of the freezer is pretty big right now.
Yeah, the one you have? Yeah, I think it is, as a matter of fact. And we had a question on the last episode about how much you should spend on an engagement ring. And Penny, of course, knew the answer to that. And if I'd have done some digging, if I actually would do more than I do, which I do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you got a full-time job on top of this.
Think about it. Sometimes I don't think about what I want to talk about until we actually sit down.
Yeah.
I think this would be a good one. So anyway, according to the internet, which I looked up, and she's right, it usually is based on how much you make per month. So if you bring home, it's 2 months' salary. So if you bring home $2,000 a month, you should be paying $4,000 for a ring. Or, but then the average price, they said, of a good or an engagement ring, I don't know if it should say good, because it should be good if it's $5,000. Should be around $5,000. Not Temu, where it's $38.35. So there you go. Just saying. But thanks, Penny, for doing some of the fact checking on me. I appreciate that. But
there's a lot of factors in engagement rings too. Do you want one to sit up high?
That's
Do you want it a solitaire? Do you want it cluster stones? Do you want it this? All those things do increase or decrease the price of it. And,
exactly. And the other thing they talked about is, what do you like? I mean, do you go out and you get something, or do you ask, what are you interested in? What do you like? What kind of settings, that kind of thing? Do you do that first, or do you surprise? And
we looked at rings
we did.
and
we
thing,
looked at
and
rings,
then you got one that was close to what I picked out.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I got the one you picked out.
Well, it wasn't in the same store because we were in like a mall when we looked at them, and you found one similar to that in another store, and you put money down on it.
Right. So I want to talk about our experience, if you don't mind, over the weekend. Terry I think she's getting better. She had rough. I had it let's start from the beginning. We had Fenn and Beckett over the weekend. We went to go watch them Friday. We got to bring them home early because they were Lauren was going away. So we brought them home, and Beckett was kind of off. He wasn't eating like he usually does. And so we brought him home. They stayed overnight. It worked out great.
And Beckett's a good blowout diaper person.
Oh, boy, does he blow. So he blew out his diaper twice before we were leaving to get haircuts and stuff. And Terry, unfortunately, was on the front line for both of those diaper blow. I was down here, and I said, what is that smell? And it was an odd color,
Well, he had been eating yogurt. We couldn't get him to eat anything either.
So that probably didn't help.
Yeah.
So anyway, needless to say, Lauren got sick Friday night. I got sick Sunday. I had a stomach thing. Terry, unfortunately, started feeling bad early morning, Monday morning, like 3 a.m., and having the same like stomach thing. And then unfortunately, a couple hours later, you had, multiple things coming out of multiple orifices, if you will. And the one thing that am thankful for is that if you hadn't have asked for water, then I probably wouldn't have been in there when you passed out. And having her pass out, it was a scary moment. She's done it to me before, but this one was worse than the other one that you did. I don't know how long ago it was.
Back.
A few years ago. This one was scary because it looked different. Because your eyes, it was just a different, reminded me of Nathan passing out a little bit, only I wasn't holding him. And if I hadn't been there, you would have fell into the glass. And I'm not sure if that glass would have held you. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because we have, where the shower is, we put a glass divider. And I don't know. Because I'm not saying, but, when you are out of
dead
it, your
weight.
weight, yes. I didn't want to say that word. I don't like saying dead weight. You know what I mean? I didn't want to use that word.
You are.
But yeah, you're limp. So all your weight. So I was there. I'm holding her. She's out. It seemed like forever, but probably a minute
or two,
maybe two. And then you finally started, and I tried to get you to the floor. And then Alan, who's an EMT, told me what I should have done is raised your legs. Because when you raise your legs, that brings the blood to your heart and gets you, So I should have.
Because my blood pressure bottomed out,
yes,
which I knew it was. I knew something was wrong when I asked for the water because I could tell, okay, this is more than just my blood pressure. And then
I would suggest in all of this, if there's one thing I would do, if you don't have one, get a blood pressure cuff. And the one we have, I was shocked to find out how close it was. Because, sometimes you buy these things from a store.
And it's a battery operated,
correct,
or it'll plug in.
And how accurate is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we got your first results here, it was 76/48 or something like that. Very close.
Yeah.
We get to, we have to make the decision. Do we call an ambulance? Do I rush you to the hospital? Will you laid on the floor for a while? We just kind of tried to get you. You're trying
hydrated.
to get back.
I thought if I could get hydrated, I knew I was dehydrated by that point.
For sure. Because you've been dieting.
And then to lose all my fluids
everything
so fast within
yes.
8 or 10 hours.
Yes.
Probably less than 8 hours, huh? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Easy.
9, like 7 or 8 hours I lost.
Oh.
Every liquid I had
nonstop.
in my
yes.
in my body. So I knew I needed to drink, but we tried different stuff, and it just made me start gagging like I was going to throw up again.
Right.
I think if I would have been able to even sip water and lay on the floor for a while, I'd sip and sip and sip. But every time I sipped, I just got
more nauseated.
And I was like, okay, I have to keep something down, or I'm going to keep passing out every time I get up to go to the bathroom.
So finally, you get up and you go to the bed, and I'm trying to figure out, do I call an ambulance? I call the doctor's office.
You could have dressed me on the floor. I thought I got up from the floor and went
no,
right.
I did not dress you from the. You got dressed. Most of you got dressed on the bed.
Okay.
Before we left, and then I said, "Can you make it to the car?" And you made that decision. Like, I don't care what happens.
Oh, it was mind over head.
Yeah, I'm
matter.
going straight.
It was mind over matter.
Because I said, "You want to sit?" Boom, you were gone. Right to the car. Sat down.
No
I
shoes,
left,
nothing.
No shoes.
I just got in the car.
I had not brushed my teeth, combed my hair.
I haven't either.
I was commando the whole time. I had no underwear because I wasn't feeling good either. I had just gotten over this whatever in the bathroom.
At least you hadn't thrown up in a few hours.
I hadn't thrown up. I didn't.
Oh, you never.
I didn't
did
have
throw
that.
Up.
You had that. I had the queasy, but I never. And you had said that you had a record going of 10 years. Well, that's been wiped out, and you have to start over again.
I know.
Yeah, what was that?
It's been over 10 years since I've thrown up.
Raymond had a bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Never throw
up
up again.
And I understand that
Yeah,
because I would
it's
rather
the
never
worst.
throw up again.
It's the worst.
Especially when you throw up and then pass out.
So we get to the emergency room, and you are still not doing great. And a guy was out there, luckily, was bringing somebody out, and we're not realizing how busy this place was. And we put you in the wheelchair, wheel you in, and you're getting ready to pass out again. You were kind of feeling,
Woozy.
I'm trying to sign you in, and I'm looking, and I mean, this place is packed.
Oh.
It's packed.
And I was like, what is this? This is a Monday afternoon.
Yeah,
How could
exactly.
I thought in the middle of the nights when it's usually packed.
And we didn't find out till we were 2 hours in, like the one little boy that was just pitch white. I mean, he was white.
Was he? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
he was
was so out of it.
Not feeling good at all. And he had been there 4 hours already.
Oh, really?
Yes. And that's what got me, oh, you got to be kidding me. So he'd been there 4 hours. So anyway, we go, finally after 2 hours, Terry gets called back. We do the blood work and the EKG, and he tells us there's an IV sodium saline shortage. And now he never took her blood pressure. Let me emphasize that.
He did.
He did not.
Someone did. That's why the nurse came out and got me.
No, is that why he did? Because the second nurse took it and took you right back. That's why I'm surprised he didn't.
I thought that the first one did take it.
No, he did EKG and blood work. That was it. And then the second one did it, and it was 76/48 again. I'm like, wow, that cuff was right.
Yeah, it was almost the same as it was while I was laying on the floor.
And that's when she said.
And she was like, do we have a bed back there?
Right.
And that's the only reason I got
That's the only reason.
Because my blood pressure was so low, they were afraid I was going to hit the floor again. And I do not know that hour and a half, 2 hours that we waited. I do not know how I sat upright. I kept putting my leg up on the chair, holding myself into the chair because I was afraid that I was going again.
Well, unfortunately,
I felt that bad the whole time.
We came out of the
and there was someone else laying on the floor.
Was laying on the floor, and who knows how long he had already been there. By the time we came out,
and he said he
laid
passed
there
out.
Another 10 minutes at least, maybe 15.
Saying, "Can someone help me out?"
And here's the thing the story that I want to kind of get to is I want to help him, but here's the problem: if you do it wrong,
and you hurt
and
him.
he says you hurt me, now, he's in a professional place. You have to let the professionals do it. Although I'll be honest, the way they did it, I'd have done the same thing. So I'm not sure they did it much more professional. Then I started thinking, was he a regular? I don't know. Because they treated him like he was kind of a regular.
Yeah.
Like he'd been there lots of times. And then when they picked him up, you heard him scream.
Yeah.
And then he somehow got
I felt bad that I was getting a bed and he was still out there.
Well, what happened, he said he faints, and he fainted out of his chair. But then I looked over, and once they got him in the chair, went to the room, come back, he actually got out of the chair and got another chair. Did you notice that?
No.
He was in another chair, that more comfortable chair.
Oh, yeah, he was in more. Well, that chair, those chairs are not comfortable, I'll tell you that. And my butt hurt.
I also feel bad because I'm in there and I'm judging people. I'm like, why are you here? Because like the one lady she was in a wheelchair. She did have a boot on her foot, okay? But she went up to the front desk. You didn't know this. She went up to the front desk because she had a Dr. Pepper. And she says, can I have some ice? And the lady says, do you have a pain? You swelled? No, my Dr. Pepper's warm. I don't know exactly where she thought she was. But she wanted ice for her Dr. Pepper. And she goes, I don't have any ice. Not for your Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have it for a medical. So I'm thinking, why are you here? What's, you're not at a restaurant. This is the emergency room.
Yeah, I don't know how many people needed to be there. Like we don't go to the emergency.
Yeah, I don't know.
If
That's
I would have started sipping water and my blood pressure would have started going up, there's no way I would have went to the emergency
Here's the
room.
other thing.
I would have went to Med Express. I would have went any place besides the emergency room.
And the other thing we have to mention, and that I really believe, that if it wasn't for your blood pressure, if your blood pressure had been, let's say, 100/58.
They wouldn't have done nothing. They wouldn't have done nothing.
They would have made you
me.
sip.
They would have made me start sipping water. They might have given me something for nausea.
Nausea, yes.
So that I could keep the water down, and then I would not have gotten this.
You would not have gotten the bag, no. Mm-mm. Because he said...
There's a shortage.
He said that depending on where you are, they'll just make you sip Gatorade until they get you where you want. So you
I think that's why they made me sit there and they didn't let me drink
they
anything
didn't let you
for
drink
an hour.
anything. That's right.
For over an hour in the
Right.
waiting room, hoping that my blood pressure would come up on its own.
Right. And
I
it
think they
didn't.
were hoping that it would come up on its own. I'm like, if it was coming up, we wouldn't be here, people, you know?
Needless to say, 6 hours later, we're finally leaving. But there are people as we're walking out. And this place is even busier.
Was the little boy gone by then?
He was gone. But the two older gentlemen, the one, I don't know if you remember. Well, you probably don't because you were kind of.
I was kind of.
They were still there. So they were there before us. And they were still sitting in the same spot. And then that lady, I didn't see the lady with the boot.
I mean, as soon
Dr.
as they got
Pepper.
me stable, they me out of there. I mean,
Yeah. Well, they said you could have another bag, but
yeah, but I was drinking and it was staying down by then.
Yes.
So that's why
so anyway,
I just wanted to go home and go to bed.
that's kind of our experience of the emergency room. Not something that we were planning on doing on a. We were just kind of hoping both of us would kind of get through the day.
I just
feel
thought
better, but-
when I first got the runs, I thought, okay, if that's it, and I went back to bed and went to sleep. Thought, okay, if I'm done, I'd be fine. I would have been fine. But then I woke up and had it coming out both ends, and then I was like, oh crap! I knew I was in trouble because I had been on a low sugar, low salt.
And they had said that it hadn't been that bad in a while.
Yeah.
But well, wouldn't you know it? Okay, we're going to do one story here, and that's our emergency room story. And I'm going to do this before we take a break, and then we're going to talk about airport hugs and how long they should be. And in fact, some airports are actually putting a time on it.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. And also, believe it or
It
not,
depends on how long it's been since you saw someone.
I'm just warning.
I mean,
you.
I'm going to
Just
hug
be-
someone that I haven't seen in a
Keep-
long time,
keep all-
longer than I'm going to hug someone I just saw yesterday.
Keep all that, conversation in you there. I'm
Okay.
getting to that. Also, don't forget, we're going to turn our clocks. We're going to fall back.
Oh, I
lot of
hope
people
that
are
doesn't
dreading
set me
it.
back more.
And we'll talk about that too. But first, before we take the break, did you know, and I wanted to talk about this last week and I forgot because I just found the paper. Some people are decorating their toilets. Did you know this?
That's gross,
Yeah. But not what you
especially after you have your head in it.
not like you'd think though. It's actually the inside of the toilet. They're putting these toilet stamps on the inside of the toilet. Apparently,
Are they
it's-
disinfectant too,
it's
so they
become-
make it smell better?
It doesn't say. That. It just says that this is a new TikTok thing, a hot trend. Floral shaped gel stamps. They're not brand new. People have done it before. They put 2 or 3 in there, and apparently it makes the bowl look pretty. But I don't know. After what we had over the weekend, I'm not sure it would look that pretty.
It wouldn't smell pretty.
Because
that's
I'll
for
tell you
sure.
what, that toilet bowl after I was done was not very happy. In fact, it was pretty upset. In fact, the one time I couldn't
It
even
only
lift.
got
it
one
wouldn't let
end.
me
The
lift
garbage can got the other end.
Oh
of
my
mine.
God, yeah, and yours. I couldn't even get the lid open on the one time. I'm like, I got to get in there, and he's like, no, not again. I'm like, no, it won't be that bad. Of course, it was.
It is.
Sometimes it's just it. When you're, because I heard my stomach rumbling, and that's when you know.
You drink it in, and it's like, oh no, it's coming fast. Get
what-
to the bathroom fast.
And what is
and
the
that's
role?
probably why I passed out, because I was like, okay, get to the bathroom fast.
Right.
And I got up too fast and got there too fast. But then I sat down, and you'd think that would have lowered.
It was too
would have-
quick.
Yeah.
Everything was, you didn't have time to like catch your breath. It wasn't
anything.
enough. And
And then I laid on the floor for quite a while, and I was still that low of blood pressure. So who knows how low it went for me to actually pass out.
And sometimes I have learned the hard way that you do not, and I mean this, you do not trust a fart sometimes.
Yeah.
You do not trust a fart.
Oh no.
Not after that. Because you're going to be doing a lot more than you'd want to do, for sure. Cleaning up a whole lot of mess.
It's awful.
And unfortunately, I had to do
I
that
can't
too.
stand to be sick. And you know what?
know that. I
the
had
other
to do
thing
that.
is I hadn't
And you
had
know-
any kabuka all week.
I'm not good with that kind of stuff. And
Oh,
you know
I
what happened to
know.
you as you passed out.
Yeah.
And I had to, that's not,
You're
one of my
not good,
favorite
yeah.
things. I do
Ron
change
is
diapers.
no nurse. Ron is no nurse.
I'm
and,
not.
But you do change diapers.
No, I'm saying.
But there's
it
been
took me a
times where
while.
you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
that one was nasty.
Because I can't pick up dog poop in the yard. It makes me want to vomit. Like I gag. So
There's some out there I wanted to get today, and I just
even with your pants, it was rough because it was that hot pepper that was in there, or that not hot pepper, that pepper,
stuffed pepper.
that stuffed pepper that was in there.
I think it came up.
Oh, it did, and it came out too.
No, it came up.
No, it came out too. Trust me.
I know
Trust
it
me.
came up because I tasted
Well, it might have came up, but it also went down too. I'm just telling you. So I hope you're enjoying your dinner as you're listening to our podcast. Coming up, we're going to talk about an airport is banning hugs that take longer than this amount of time. Also, we'll talk about what people are dreading as far as turning the clocks back. And who knows what else we'll get into. That's all coming up next. So you want to start a podcast. Maybe you're listening to the show today and you're thinking to yourself, boy, that would be fun. And I have a lot of things I want to talk about. Maybe today is the day. Maybe you're looking for a new marketing channel, or you have a message that you'd like to share with the world, or you just think it would be fun to have a talk show. Now, it is a lot of fun just talking to your friends. Maybe you have ideas about sports, life, or whatever your passion is. Today's the day. Podcasting is easy, it's inexpensive, and it's a fun way to expand your reach online. And where should you go? Buzzsprout. It's hands down the easiest, and it's the best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. And your show, believe it or not, can be online and listed in all the major podcast directories in minutes, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, and you wouldn't believe how many more there are. And they make it simple to join all of them. Podcasting is not hard when you have the right partners, and Buzzsprout is the team to join. They are passionate about your success. You can join over 1,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout. We're one of them. We've been on Buzzsprout from the beginning, and I'm so glad I joined up. I had a little bit of an issue, emailed a customer service rep, and they got back to me within 5 minutes, and they had me calm down. It wasn't that hard, and what I was doing was my fault. So here's all you got to do. Click on the link in the show notes. It tells Buzzsprout we sent you. You can support our show, and if you get a paid plan, you get a $20 gift certificate from Amazon. Now, here's some other things that Buzzsprout provides. Like, you get a great looking podcast website. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I got to get a website, got to pay for that. No, you don't. They provide it for you. Also, they have audio players. Maybe you have a website, and all you want to do is promote your show on your own website. You can do that with their audio players, and you can also drop it into other websites and on Facebook or Twitter, and they help you do it all. Believe me, Buzzsprout is the way to go. They've helped me immensely, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. So maybe today is a day for you to start your podcast. And if you do, check out the link below in the show notes and get a $20 Amazon gift card. Terry, have you ever gone to the airport? You hadn't seen somebody in a long, long time. And
I think we saw Cassie when she had Tabea, and I had never met Tabea. She came into Pittsburgh and she had a layover, and we went, and she had gotten off and I'm sure there was a lot of hugging because she had been in Germany.
If you had to guess how long the hug took, do you have a guesstimate?
There were 2 or 3 of us waiting on her, so all of us hugged, you know.
Yeah, but how long, did you
I don't
hug
know.
her?
I don't know, probably
Did you
only
time
a
it?
minute, but probably only a minute or so.
Because the airport's going to time this, especially if you're in New Zealand.
They're going to time you.
They're timing it. An airport in New Zealand made the news because apparently they have a hugging policy that they just adopted. So let's say you're dropping someone off at the airport. You have these farewell hugs. Well, how long do you think these hugs should last?
They're only allowed 2 minutes.
And how long do you think the airport says
30
a hug?
seconds. They're only, no, I don't know. Maybe less than that then. I don't know.
Well, you were kind of right
2 minutes?
the very first time, kind of. You're a little low. They're giving you 3 minutes max to hug. We should do what we had to do. We should do this. We should actually hug each other
For 3
for 3 minutes.
It is quite long, I think.
That's a long time. It's longer than you think. That's like the guy we were watching last night. We told you that if your mind, you couldn't get your mind to shut down, and then there's this muscle in your hand just below your,
I did
right
go to
around your
sleep
wrist.
after that.
You know what? I felt my brain. It's weird. He says you find this. I wish I could.
The only thing I couldn't shut down was the headache from that nausea medicine. I ate just the back of my head, and it's still ringing.
So
whether I'm up, whether I'm down, the back of my head, the ringing will not.
We were
go
looking
away.
for nighttime sounds, and this guy popped up, and he said if your brain isn't kind of shutting down for you, I have I have my left hand up in the air. I have my thumb just below, like where my pinky is. Run down your pinky down to where your wrist is. There's a bone there. Move it over just beside that bone to the left of that bone, and you press it 20 times. So you do 20 times. You press it, 1, 2, 3, 20 times. Then you hold it for a minute. You hold it in for a minute. And, that minute is, I'm counting a minute. And I'm sure I'm counting faster than it actually is.
Yes, yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, it was so weird that I actually could feel my brain kind of shutting down a little bit. I still was thinking about some stuff, but not as much as I was. It was really weird. And about 20 minutes later, I think I did
fall asleep. I did.
Anyway, back to the hugging. I don't know how I got on that. Sorry, I hit the mic. So it's 3 minutes. That's the max. And there's a sign that says max hug time, 3 minutes for fonder farewells. If you really feel like you got to hug, do it out in the parking lot. And they said they're doing it. They're doing it to help
traffic congestion,
with traffic around the airport and limit how long people hang out in the drop-off lane. But a lot of people are divided on whether this policy is good or not. I mean, one person called the time limit hugs inhumane. Another said the drop-off lane at their kid's school needs the same policy. Kids do hug for a long period of time when they haven't seen each other for, a while. The biggest comment came from an American who said, you get 3 minutes to hug. In America, they don't even want you to stop. Just come to a slow roll, push your passenger out, and that's it. Get the heck out. Is that true? I don't know if that's true or not. But
I haven't been kicked out of the waiting lane or the drop-off lane. But then again, we don't hang out.
No, we have dropped the kids off when we took Zach and Sarah. We dropped them off, and
we didn't.
I didn't even give them time. I didn't even hug them. I don't think, because I was in the passenger, and I was like,
"Text me when you get there."
Yeah, exactly. We waved at them and said, "Have a good time."
Call me if something goes wrong.
My foot's cramped.
I could see it.
Oh, go.
Toes.
Yeah, my toes are cramped. All right. So 3 minutes. If you're going to the airport in New Zealand, it's 3 minutes. I wonder if they'll ever adopt that kind of thing around here. You think they will?
I don't know.
I don't think they will.
Push out and go.
Hey, before we get to the changing the clocks, and don't forget, on November 3rd, we have to rotate the... no, that's before. I'm sorry. This is after. So we're doing this after.
They're changing the
We already
clocks.
changed the clocks.
Really?
Yeah, because this will be after. Or no, this is Friday. We're doing this the Friday before, so that'll work out perfect. So tomorrow, you'll be changing the clocks, which is November 3rd. And a lot of people are dreading this change. And I don't know exactly why. I know it used to say, well, we changed the clocks because of farmers and or school kids getting to the bus and the light, stuff like that. Have you heard those kind of things?
Yeah, at school and sports. So they, but then seems like once you change your clocks, it's dark in the morning and it's dark when you come home.
Like right now, it would be...
dark.
Yeah, it'd be 5 o'clock and it'd be dark and you'd be ready. You'd be thinking it's a lot later, you should be in bed. So people just don't want to change the clocks twice a year, and yet here we are. We're still doing it. There's a report that says the average person starts dreading the clocks changing 11 days before it takes effect. So you must be in that mode already. And so the misery already has started for some people. 40% admit that they feel a sense of dread. Also, that dread can linger about 13 days after the change. The only good thing is I guess you get an extra hour of sleep. The main issue is
Not
that,
really. You just go to bed later or earlier.
yeah, but you're turning it back during the night.
It
so you
doesn't
don't-
seem like I get
No,
an
it doesn't
extra
seem like it
hour.
at all. The main issue is that it can bring on sunlight blues because it starts getting dark as soon as you're off work. I know Joe hates this time of year. His whole mood changes when it gets
When
dark.
it's dark, when he
oh
gets
yeah, his
home.
whole mood changes. But changing the clocks also throws people's systems out of whack, and that's mostly related to people say they need more sleep in the days and weeks after daylight savings time. Those people say they need an extra hour and 24 minutes in order to feel well rested after the change. So whether or not, we're going to make the change, whether you
Like it or not.
like it or not, because I always thought they'd passed this. They kept saying, we're passing a law. We're not only going to stay on, I don't even know which one we were staying on.
Daylight savings.
I
or
don't,
whatever.
yeah, I can't remember which one they were thinking about
Keeping
using
it on.
or keeping it on, but it doesn't matter because it never passes anyway. So, all right, we're losing Terry because, like I said, she hasn't been feeling great. So we're going to cut this. We're going to do one more story, and that is Tic-Tacs. Now, are you a Tic-Tac fan, Terry?
Not really.
Would you be willing to pick a new flavor of Tic-Tac if they gave you the flavors that they were thinking about coming out with? Would you be willing to vote?
Yes.
Okay, so Tic-Tac is wants to add some new flavors, and I guess they have this new citrus adventure flavor that they added, and now they're giving you a limited edition flavor that you can choose from. It's called Choose Your Next Match promotion. There's 5 flavors: mango lime, sour grape, lemon sherbet, dragon fruit, and ginger lemon. These are all running for the vote, and you can get on Tic-Tac's Instagram or the website, and you can vote, and it'll show you how to enter, and you can vote for those flavors. But Terry's look is like she's getting ready to throw up again.
Dragon fruit, I guess, but I don't really know what dragon fruit tastes like.
I thought you'd pick mango.
It's got lime in it, though. I don't care for lime.
You don't think the two would kind of...
No.
Sour grape?
I don't want sour.
Lemon?
Tic-Tacs to me need to be like minty, fresh, or like fruity.
It's lemon sherbet.
It's lemon sherbet. But see, lemon is sour once again.
Yeah, it's all, well, Tic-Tac, they have peppermint, right? Tic-Tac?
Yeah, they do have mint and winter
It's
mint
more of a
or something
winter
like
mint,
that. They
yeah.
have like a peppermint, I think.
So I guess we'll ask our...
I would rather say, I don't know, maybe they already have watermelon. I haven't bought Tic-Tacs in a long
I
time.
wouldn't know. I don't. I go to the hospital with a...
The
not
citrus
brushing my
sounds
teeth.
good, but
I could have used a Tic-Tac, I'm sure.
Oh, I could have used a whole box of them. I needed mint, though, to
That's the
settle
first
my
time
stomach.
I've been out in a while in Commando. That was different. I was out there, Terry. Because I didn't have time.
I don't even know if I had clothes on.
You had clothes on because I put them on you.
I know, but I don't think you put any underclothes
Yes, I
on
did,
me.
because you said just in case, because, you had... So that was the first thing we put on.
Oh, yeah, I even had a diaper
Because you
in
made
my
me...
butt.
Yes, you had a diaper in your butt. You took one of the kids' diapers just in case. And
And
you
I
stuffed
put
it
it
in your
in-
underwear. So
Because
don't...
I was afraid
yes.
I'd pass gas and it wouldn't be gas.
Exactly. That's, again, you can't trust a fart. That is the moral of this whole episode. It's not about the election. It's not about time change. It's about don't trust a
your
fart.
gas.
Don't trust your gas. You know what? Can you do one more?
Yeah.
We're grandparents. How would you like to know how much money grandparents actually spend on your grandkids?
Oh, my.
This just came up today, and I thought this is going to be
I know
good.
you've spent more than
I
I
have.
know.
I have.
We have a bouncy house.
We have a bouncy house. We've got, I think that was given by Joe.
Kitchen, yeah.
The
That
kitchen
was-
we bought. We bought the kitchen.
We bought them numerous things at
The
their
table.
house.
We bought that little table. We bought, it just goes on and on. Parents know how expensive it is to raise kids. And of course, bank accounts. So those of you that have kids, the bank account is probably reminding you every day. But moms and dads may not be adding up how much grandparents are actually contributing. You see the gifts that the grandparents are sending the grandkids. Maybe pay for meals when you get together, which we've done that too. Although RJ did pay for a meal, and I forgot to ask.
We
say
kept
thank
him
you.
overnight, and then he paid for dinner.
So here's the jaw-dropping amount of the money we're spending on our grandchildren. The senior list polled 1,200 grandparents and found, on average, grandmas and grandpas are shelling out blank thousand a year on their grandkids. You got a guess?
I don't know.
Come on.
5,000.
Very close. 4,000 a year. I don't think I hit 4,000, have I? You know what? If you count some of the monster trucks and let's see.
We don't do anything that big for. Although
but it adds up.
I know we did buy a tablet.
Let's be honest.
And then and then
the tablet. I forgot about that. That computer. Yeah. All right. So you're spending 4,000. That's probably about right. About 10% of people or grandparents are spending. Ready for this? Mm-hmm. $10,000.
And I could see that, especially
me too. If the parents are struggling.
If your grandchild asked to play hockey or baseball or something like that, where you need a lot of equipment.
Yes. And the parents are not quite able to
do it,
pull it off. It might have to help.
I actually told Nathan he could play hockey, but he had asked for the rest of the equipment for Christmas, and that would be his whole Christmas. And he decided not to play hockey because each grandma would have bought a piece of equipment. We would have bought a couple pieces of equipment. Aunts and uncles would have all chipped in on equipment, and that would have been his whole Christmas. He would not have gotten a Christmas except hockey equipment because that's the only way we could afford for him to play. And so he decided not to try hockey.
Yeah. Hockey's a very expensive sport.
And with his
I
hips,
think he would have liked it.
I think he would have liked it, but I think he might have even more hip problems if he would have done it because
he likes the hip check. So that
a hip check and fights.
Yeah.
And I could see him hauling off and slugging someone.
I could see him, getting a little.
They hip
angry.
check him and him elbow
comes
him.
right back at him.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you're going to contribute a lot of money, a lot of people are feeling the burden. A lot of grandparents admit that they make monetary sacrifices for their grandkids' happiness. And I'll be honest, if I had more than two, I would spend it on all of them. But I can imagine it getting a little tougher. 26% live more conservatively in order to help support their grandchildren. 10% are going into debt or delaying their retirement, which I'm not doing that.
No, we're not going to do that.
To give to help raise their grandkids. Now that's different. It may be some of them, grandparents are maybe taking on their grandkids. That's
if
possible
something
too.
happened tomorrow, I would raise my.
We would do it absolutely. We'd not even think twice about it. While many were willing to give, 1 in 5 confessed to feeling pressured to give more money to their kids' than they can afford. And I don't ever feel that way.
I don't feel.
No one's ever asked for anything. Mm-mm. And that was the same for us with our kids. They all contributed.
We never asked,
but we
for
never
nothing.
asked for anything. 96% of grandparents contribute to their grandkids in one way or the other, maybe helping pay for daily expenses to put money in their college funds, which college is very expensive.
Right now, I'm just helping 2 days a week, so they don't have to pay quite as much daycare.
16% of nanas and granddads have at least one child that lives with them, which I believe.
I believe that too.
So
I see it a lot at school when I was working at school. A lot of the grandparents, either they're living with them or the grandparent is the one that takes them to the dentist and the doctor and all that kind of stuff. The parents both work and the grandparent is the one doing that kind of running all the time.
Yeah.
Even if they don't live with them, they do all the running, which it depends on their job and stuff. I mean, we may have to help in that vote, in that, way at some point, depending on jobs and if someone travels or if someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could change.
If you have a meeting that day or whatever.
But yeah, it's what grandparents do. I mean, I'm constantly like we went to Sam's Club and ended up buying something for Christmas.
Already, yeah.
It's because it's something really cool. And then we saw it, but it wasn't the same exact thing that was on TV, but it's pretty close.
I know
It's
because
really
it was
close.
glow in the dark too.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah. So, but I do have a question for you. Let's say that your mom remarried, okay, and you had a stepsister, and you're pretty close, and the stepsister got married, and your stepfather, who you considered father because he had been with the family for a long time, maybe when you were 3. That's how long she'd been remarried. Stepfather pays for his biological daughter's wedding, pays for it. So the other daughter is getting married, and she wants to have a destination wedding, but the stepdad won't pay for it. So she was asked.
The stepdaughter's getting married?
No. Yeah, his stepdaughter, yes. Not his. He paid for his biological, but his stepdaughter.
But he's not going to pay for
says
her.
he won't pay for it. And so the daughter, the stepdaughter, is saying, well, I'm not coming to Christmas. I'm not going to any holidays. I'm mad. I've told him how I feel, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I'm less, whatever.
Less important because I'm step.
Because I'm step, yeah. Now the mother says, you're ruining our family. It's not about that. Your stepsister doesn't make as much money. They were struggling. We pay for the wedding. You make more money. I guess they make really good money. That's not. See, here's my thing. Now I'm going to.
It is about money sometimes.
It is.
And to me, people expect more than they should. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything. I wouldn't expect.
See,
I didn't expect my parents to give us anything. We paid for our wedding.
We paid, yes.
Your mom and dad did help. They paid, I think, half the cater and stuff. My dad had gone through a long layoff before we got married and started his own business. So I didn't expect my parents to pay a penny.
Yeah, we didn't ask. But see, here's the thing.
They still gave us money.
It's funny because you are almost kind of word for word agreeing with the psychologist or
right.
whoever was answering. It was because what they were saying was, first of all, they said, don't do that to your family. Go to the holidays.
Right.
It's not worth not having contact.
It's not worth, yeah.
But she also said you need to talk to them and tell them how to feel, because what might happen is he might say, well, maybe I could help.
Maybe
with something.
I'll pay for a little bit of the cater, or I'll pay for the flowers.
Right, but like whoever was answering, psychologist, whatever, said today a lot of couples getting married do pay for it themselves. They're not relying on their parents because the parents can't do it, or
right.
I mean, it depends. It depends on the financial situation.
I mean,
but doesn't it seem a little like if you don't do anything? What if, you said you did it for the stepdaughter, but you don't do anything, or you did it for your biological daughter, but nothing for a daughter you raised. To me, it brought I could see where she feels. I
could see, but
like less important.
What if she's a lawyer and her husband's
I think
a doctor?
They have really good jobs, according to the article.
Yeah, I mean, if they make more money than we do, then I would expect them to pay. I would help some way, but I wouldn't,
But like she said, the bottom line was, don't disconnect from them because you're not gaining anything. And she wasn't even going to invite them to the wedding. She wasn't going to invite her stepsister, who she was close with, or her stepdad, just her mom. And she's like, that's not proving anything. If they don't want to come, you at least give them the option, but they'll probably come. But I mean, this is according to the whoever was answering. I don't know who it was.
I mean, it's just not worth the fights. Not only that, I just think that people expect too much out of people, and to cut someone off because of money is just. I mean, you shouldn't expect something. You don't know what their plans are for that money, or even when you think they have money, like you have an aunt or a great aunt or something who never had kids, and they have a lot of money. You shouldn't expect something from them. they can do
No.
whatever they want with that money.
Yeah.
And if they pass away and don't leave you a cent, then that's on them. You know what I mean? Not only that, maybe they have a good charity they wanted to give that to. You just don't know what their thinking is, and you should not. You shouldn't take it out on them. It's just going to make a lot of hurt feelings.
Yeah, I think that for me it was. I'm thinking of how as a, whether you're a stepfather or whatever, how do you explain that though? How do you say, well, yeah, I did for this, so I'm not doing for you? Because it makes it
Well, you
look
could
like.
even do that with biological kids.
No, I'm saying that's true.
Because maybe one of your kids went to be a doctor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And has money coming in now. And he's went through his doctor and he's got good money coming in. And the other one is...
But you can't. I know, but
doesn't have a steady job. And so you help them a little bit more.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've done that in our own way with our kids. We've probably put a little more here than we have to, the other one, if you will. But it's not because I don't want to help. I would be willing to do whatever.
One of ours paid more sports than the other
Yeah,
two.
true.
So
they all thought he's the popular one, and then the other two.
Yeah, they always said, if you ask all three of our kids,
it's all different.
Everyone will say the favorite
one
is a different one.
Right. But I just feel like if you don't,
and that's because I think we spent money on the one but he asked to do everything. The other ones didn't ask. I can't help that.
For me, I have a hard time. I would have a hard time not at least saying, well, can I help? I can't pay for the whole thing, but I would be willing to help. I don't know where.
It depends on the wedding,
well,
too.
Yeah, where
Are
is
you
it?
putting a $60,000 venue on, plus then you have catering on top of that and this and that and another thing? Or are you doing this within a reasonable income and to where I can help with a couple $1,000s for the caterer?
And they never mentioned, like, where the stepdaughter had the wedding. It might have been, who knows, might have been in town. Might have been at who knows?
You said it was destination.
The stepdaughter wants to have a destination. So who's to say that?
Look at Sarah's, experience with weddings. She's had such horrible experiences with weddings that she wants a very simple wedding now.
Here's the thing, though.
Because people have been crazy, like wanting their dresses to match for the shower, wanting these great big bachelorette parties that they want you to put thousands of dollars into these bachelorette parties or bachelorette weekends. And she's like, I don't have the money for me to go on that, let alone to pay part of the bride's thing too. And, just some things that these brides are asking now or these wedding parties are asking now are just ridiculous. That if you're still a college student and you're taking part in that, how in the world do you have $10,000 to be in a wedding? I mean, it got that bad at some of the weddings she's gone to. You're not allowed to take a picture with your phone. You're not allowed to. It's gotten all this stuff there. The pens had to match and this and that, just such nitpicky stuff at the showers and at the rehearsal dinners.
And none of it, no one will remember it anyway.
Yeah, and no one's going to remember all that little nitpicky stuff anyhow. And they act like it's like life or death over it. And she's like, I just want it simple as I can now. Because
I think
she doesn't want all that.
If she'd have been around for Nathan and Alexis's, especially down, it would have been nice. Turned out. I mean, it could not have
turned out better.
Especially with all the cousins showing up. It just, everything.
We were going to have a little 20 people wedding. Yes. We had 40 or I don't know.
I don't know, had 50 maybe?
Yeah, at a house that slept 18.
Right.
And it ended up so nice and no one was nitpicky.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, the bridal, what do you call her? The bridal planner forgot to give the girls the flowers when they walked around the pool and down to the ceremony. And my sister ran in and grabbed the flowers and handed them to them.
But I mean, here's the thing, something that was going to be very small, and the cousins all found out, And then that's how I got my mom down there because Aunt Betty went.
Yeah, because if
And
her sister
it
wasn't
just,
going, I don't
right.
think we would
And
have
all
got
my
her
cousins
down.
came down. And it just,
And then all
it's giving me
her
chills.
all her dad's family ended
Yes,
up
all
coming
her
down.
dad's-
They rented a place.
Correct.
So your cousins rented a place.
Oh, that's right.
Her dad's family rented a place.
That's right.
And there was so many people that we were not, like they were going to pay for one place on the beach that was only going to be 20 people.
Yes.
And then if all those people would have decided to come down,
Right.
it would have been like $40,000 because that was
It
20
added on,
people. Yeah.
yes.
It would have been like astronomical. They wouldn't
And we
have been able
didn't
to
have,
do
the
it.
only thing that we did once we found out, we ended up, which the place is closed now, and we got wedding soup.
Yeah.
And boy, and I think I don't think that's all we had.
No, we had wedding soup.
We had
and
some
I
cookies
think-
and stuff
Yeah,
on.
and we had wedding cake, and
Yeah, but it just, I'm telling you,
I didn't even get a bowl of the wedding soup.
I don't think I did either, but it didn't matter.
No, everyone really liked it,
It was
and they
a
said, "Oh, it was
blast.
nice." And
It was a
then-
blast. And what was really topped it off for me was, Alexis was upset. It was raining.
all day.
We wanted to have it outside because the lake was right there,
The bag
the bay. I'm sorry, and then all of a sudden
it cleared
the
up.
sun comes out, and Nathan says, "No, we're having it outside." And my dad had been gone just maybe a couple years, and I just felt like, no, we're moving this stuff aside, and it was just a. So I think if Sarah would have saw that, it would have probably, got her a little more. But she's had some really rough weddings she's been in.
She's been
lately,
in.
she's
She's
been
taking
in quite a
pictures
few.
at. She's
But anyway, my point is, do you think this girl has a right to be upset? I do think she should talk to them.
Yeah, I think she has a right to have hurt feelings if he says he's not paying anything at all.
Yes.
But she needs to look at her wedding venue and the prices she was going to pay,
Right.
and what he put into his
And just
own
say- yeah,
daughters.
and then can you pay
maybe
this amount? Help me.
negotiate
Yes.
and help me with a little
Yeah.
bit. But
See, I would do that.
I
though.
wouldn't expect them. Like I said, just from one time in your life to the next, in 2 years, your financial situation could change too.
Yes.
I mean, people
just like
expect,
that.
yeah. I
Get
mean,
laid off,
yeah.
fired.
I
whatever.
mean,
Bus-
and that's how you do things. Maybe you bought your first child a car or something,
Right.
and then you get laid off, and your second child you can't do it for. I mean, I'm sorry, but things like that happen in life, and
Right.
you can't. It's not that I don't want to do that for you. I just don't have the money. I had $2,000 in the bank to help them with the car, but I don't for you because Dad got laid off, and we both had to go back to work and both find different jobs or whatever. And things like that happen in life, and life doesn't always treat you fairly.
So, to our wonderful listeners, how did you pay for the wedding? Did you have help? Did you front the bill? And was it an expensive wedding? Was it a destination wedding? I'd like to know. I had a couple questions I wanted to ask, and I didn't get to it.
Ours
so.
was a very simple wedding.
It's very simple. Yep, very simple.
Church
And, Church in the American Legion, and we had a blast.
we had a blast. All the little kids came, and we
Yep.
danced and had a good
It was a
time with
great
them.
time.
All my nieces and all their cousins, and we had fun.
Hard to believe that next year that will be 40 years.
Yep, in
40
April.
years. And I say it and I'm going, that can't, because when I said it just now, I thought that can't be right, but it is 40 years.
And how many people are gone that
Yes.
were at that wedding?
Yep.
Lots
of
There are more
loved ones for sure.
passed on than there are here, I think, from
Yeah.
that wedding.
It's been, yeah. So anyway, all right. Hey, thanks for listening. We kind of overdid it, but we really thank you for listening. I hope you don't mind as we went down kind of a memory,
We're
and
laying there.
just kind of remembering some of our wonderful family members, and hopefully that helps you too. So the thing we want to let you remember is, of course, this is before you want to change your clocks. I'll go ahead
Change your clocks, yeah,
and vote,
and vote.
and don't forget
Voters.org.
millionvoters.org and what's the same thing?
Fact
Candidate factsheet.org.
Yeah.
And check it out. And also follow us on Facebook or X, where we have a new episode every Monday, although this is a Friday. We're doing something a little different. And because we want to get you out and hopefully, get you to check on things and see what's right. So thanks so much for listening. Do you have anything you want to add before
Nope.
I say
have a great week?
We're out?
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's show.